everybody. It's your girl, Pajama, with Pajama Life. And today, it's the Wonder Twins. Wonder Twins power, activate.
There we go. All right.
Your girl's a little under the weather, but she had to come in and talk about these couple of movies for Black History Month. We're recording this on actually the last day of Black History Month, and hope that you enjoy our selections of American Fiction and Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni Project, as well as we will talk about the Best Actress and Actor nominations. It's coming. We're about a little more than a week away from the Oscars and really are excited. And let's see if our buddy David is going to come back and say hello.
Am I back? Can you hear me?
There he is. All right. Say
We'll
hello.
see what happens with my connection. I think we're held together by some chewing gum and duct tape tonight, but we will see how it goes with the COVID cooties and whatever else. Looking forward to talking to you about these fun, interesting flicks.
All right. Well, first up is the movie to watch, American Fiction. Let's take a peek.
What really struck me was that too few books were about my people.
Monk, your books are good, but they're not popular.
Look at what they publish. Look at what they expect us to write. I just want to rub their noses in it. Dads, rappers, crack. You said you wanted black stuff. That's black, right?
I see what you're doing. We sold your book.
No.
We believe Mr. Lee has written a bestseller.
It's a joke.
The most lucrative joke you've ever told.
Now, is Stag a pseudonym?
Yeah.
Mr. Lee can't use his real name.
Is this based on your actual life?
Yeah, you think some bitch-ass college boy can come up with that shit?
No, I don't.
They're offering $4 million for the movie rights.
Yes!
The dumber I behave, the richer I get.
Boy, what an indictment. David, what did you think of American Fiction?
I thought it was smart, well acted, funny, and in so many ways, tragically closer to reality than I think we liked.
Right. And it really is an indictment on kind of, at this time it was published in the early 2000s. And at that time there was a lot of urban fiction with stories of crime novels essentially, and stories about poverty and downtrodden and people's, kind of lives and stuff like that. And it was hard for Black literary folks to get published, in unless the most popular books were these type of novels, which, they have their place, right? It's the same with any genre. Some people think like science fiction is like, ew, I don't want to read that, ew. And some people think urban fiction like this is not something, it's not to everybody's taste. I think the problem becomes when that's the
It's
only
making
thing.
you sick. That's what's going on. It's such a terrible situation where this story could come about. It's making you ill. Not illin', but ill.
Because right now we have it on an even grander scale. I mean, I hate to say it, but look at Tubi and the movies that they promote. Some of that stuff is just trash. But also, it's more insidious, right? Because who owns Tubi? Do you know?
No, actually, I don't.
The Fox Corporation. Fox News.
Oh.
So what kind of messages you think they are putting out there about Black culture? A lot of that stuff's not positive. And so this comes at the right time when we're seeing this kind of circle back again of damaging messages being put out in the world about Black life, that we are uneducated, we are impoverished, we are, have multiple children out of wedlock, or crime, our Black men are criminals, with sociopathic criminals out here just living fast and dying young. That's not all of our experience. Just like,
Right.
Ninjas aren't all Asian people's experience, or cowboys and Indians aren't all the American West experience. There's these stereotypes, and I think this is what the movie does really brilliantly, is talk about that. And there's an important satirical message that might go over, but also, did you well, of course you saw it, but what did you think of Issa Rae and uh the main character's kind of dialogue at the end about it? What did you think of that?
Well, I thought that was fascinating to see. And again, I'm kind of an invited guest into this in many respects as I'm watching this. I thought it was a powerful conversation, and it really just speaks to me of how the game to get ahead in entertainment and all has to be played. And it frustrates you.
Yeah.
It frustrates you in that as we look to try to find great characters and great stories for many talented artists, from my vantage point is, man, give me a good story.
Exactly.
Give me a protagonist and let me follow him or her in that journey,
right,
as opposed to relying on tropes and stereotypes that, again, at the end of the day, can be, even if that speaks accurately to one part of life, it limits it if that's the only perspective that we see.
And it's also, but the argument they have is true to life kind of in a lot of different ways. What should you do? Should you worry about what people think, or just get paid? And then once you get out there, you can create other things that might be more powerful and palatable, as opposed to, this is like a cookie. A cookie tastes good, this kind of stuff, but you eat too much of it and your teeth rot.
Well, and eventually, to get in a position to make a change, if you have to compromise your integrity, your values too much, you will lose them. And even if you try to regain that high ground, you won't be taken seriously because, he's the goofy joke guy.
Yeah. Or he's the guy we can count on to be our boy or be our girl. We don't have to, really worry. You can sit in a room and somebody says something totally racist or totally off the wall, and they're one of us. They get it.
Right.
And then how much of that do you swallow? Yeah. And eventually you choke. And so, but we can't always be worrying about other people's feelings too when we trying to put food on our tables and have a roof over our head. So it's a compelling argument, and I thought the way they did the ending, which I read the book Erasure, and I'm doing a book review and a book adaptation review. It's very different. And it's very interesting how they did that ending in the movie, which I was totally like, oh no. And then I was like, you got me, Corey Jefferson. Okay, I see you, dog. I see you. So definitely American Fiction is something that I think everyone should see, and then have these kind of discussions with your
Yeah.
friends, with your white friends, with your non-minority friends or different minority friends, and have this discussion to open up these channels and begin to do some interesting healing in it. Okay, next up, going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni Project. Let's take a look.
I smile, but there is always this frown.
Were you ever bullied by your skin color when you were younger?
Have you ever had like a breakdown or you couldn't take it anymore where you just couldn't do it?
I think I'll run away with the ants and live on Mars.
I'm fortunate because I'm a poet and poets are allowed to be hopeful.
I used to dream radical dreams of blowing everyone away with my perceptive powers of correct analysis.
The one thing that I did know is whatever life would be, I knew I had to create myself. To successfully go to Mars and back, you will need a song. And maybe a six-pack, so if there is life on Mars, you can share.
David, what did you think of Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni Project?
Well, I did not know what to expect. I kind of thought I'll sound silly. At first, when I heard the title, we've got some kind of like sci-fi or maybe a documentary kind of deal. I was blown away because this is a person and a story that, hey, I'm a history major and I think I need to go back and check out a few more books and learn. Beautiful story, powerful story. As someone who uses his mouth for a living a lot, filibustering, there you go. I love it. I love her voice.
Yeah.
I mean, her poetry is beautiful. The sound of her voice, there's a melody to it that is so soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was poignant as you listen to her, but it was a palate cleanser listening to her. I don't want to be too superficial, but I was struck at that. There's an intelligence and a beauty and a depth to this woman. And I was just really moved. And again, a great story because if this is a month to learn more about Black history, then I got my notebook out and I learned something. So that was a good thing for me.
And I think she is, these great poets and activists are now in their 70s and 80s, 90s, some of them, if they're still around. And so I was so pleased that they did this documentary. And it's poignant because she's had strokes and she's had, several health issues. And she doesn't remember some of those days because of her strokes. And so I was hoping that there are, these are the ways that we need to record these great people. Her voice, her poetry needs to be in the Library of Congress. I'm sure it is. But if it isn't, shame on the Library of Congress, because the things that she wrote are particularly for Black folks, but also can be universal. And as a queer woman too, she has some powerful things to say about that as well, which doesn't get a lot of highlighting in her story. But what she does for the Black community, and what it was two things that were so incredibly poignant to me, which were that when she talks about, things were good, and then Hammarskjöld died, and Lumumba died, and Kennedy died, and this person died, this person, and this person. And just imagine today if all the people that you started looking up to and who were talking truth or just started being assassinated. Like, okay, I mean, just think about your favorite artists, Bruce Springsteen and the Aerosmith, or like Jay-Z and Run DMC and all of these people just started being assassinated, that would really hurt your spirit. And
Oh yeah.
so that people, and we have to think about too, remember, a lot of those civil rights activists were young. you know Fred Hammond was 19, I think.
Yeah,
18,
perhaps it was.
19.
Well, John Lewis was very young then.
Yeah, John Lewis, young, 20 maybe. Huey Newton's was in his 20s. These were young people. So, the thought of these kind of things happening, it was just so once you understand that, you understood their rage and pain and hurt and sense of feeling bereft and untethered when everybody you looked up to is being murdered. And then when she talked about going to Mars, and that you need to put Black women in the NASA, because we've learned how to be comfortable with aliens. She makes it of being a slave and having to come to America and having to bear the slave owner's children and then love them and then take care of them and flourish. And we could do that anywhere. And that we could teach people how to deal with, who are astronauts or going to space, how to deal with being the other and how to welcome an alien. I just thought that was so incredible and so beautiful a thought of, how the Black woman has been such an anchor to help the nation be able to
Very much so. Yeah.
So, we're not sure how much more time we have with her, but I would say go back and look at her writings and her teachings, and just as a person who is interested in activism, but not even that, just some really interesting and just beautiful prose. Check out Nikki Giovanni.
Yeah.
And that is, I wanted to bring something, each year I try to bring different aspects of Black life on the show during February, but every month is Black History Month because every month Black folks have contributed. So we'll be showing more throughout the year, but I hope you enjoyed the Nikki Giovanni Project, Going to Mars. But we are here to talk also about the Oscars.
Oh, here we go.
We're rounding down to 2 categories, the Best Actor and Actress category. All right, let's start with the Best Actress category. We have Annette Bening in Nyad, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan in Maestro, and Emma Stone in Poor Things. All right, David, let's say, who is your favorite? Who is someone you think is going to, like a sneaky prediction, and then who you think is actually going to get the Oscar?
I think, a sneaky prediction would be Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. A powerful movie, and again, I think that's not necessarily a favorite, but I think there was a really strong.
She's a clear favorite right now.
Is she?
Are you sure? Yes.
Well, I'm going with that one. I would have thought.
Okay.
I would have thought that Carey Mulligan or Emma Stone would have been the favorites from the Oscar perspective. My pick is Emma Stone because I think Poor Things really allowed her to do something that we haven't seen before, but we know that she has great capacity and potential as an actor. So Emma Stone is my pick to win it. I would have called Lily Gladstone a bit of a dark horse in this, but I'm not you. I'm not hanging out at the Brown Derby with the Oscar voter.
Not the Brown Derby.
What?
Well, I'm thinking, okay, sneaky pick would be Maestro, Carrie Mulligan.
All right.
That would be a surprise. I would be like, what? And disappointed at that. Just because I think that the long-suffering beard is kind of, people like that kind of character. So, I think that I just don't think that was that original. Who I want to win, until I saw it, I wouldn't have said it. Annette Bening and Nyad. Oh,
really? Okay.
Yes, which is probably the dark horse pick, but because Annette Bening has never won, you know.
Yeah. Not for Mars Attacks. I would have thought she had something for Mars Attacks. Oh
Lord, or Bugsy. I thought she might have got it for Bugsy. Or my favorite role of hers is The Grifters. That is when she blew my brain out of my head.
She was great in that. Really was.
And the because I mean, her Diana Nyad was so inspiring. I mean, I went into it like, oh, okay, I gotta watch this movie. Man, by the end, I was cheering, I was tearing up, I was like, go, Diana, go! And it was a difficult person. I mean, Diana Nyad is not, they didn't paint her as rainbows and butterflies. I mean, she was a mess to deal with, but her stick-to-itiveness and determined, I just loved it. I'm so inspired by it. So I'm really rooting for
wow. I could see it. Okay. All right.
I haven't felt like that in a while for somebody to win. Emma Stone.
Oh.
I can't stand this movie. So really? I can't stand her character. I can't stand the director. I just did not like it.
Well, it's not Pajama Life if you've got everybody agreeing. So we're diametrically opposed. One on one side, one on the other. It's all right. It's all right. We'll put up our dukes later.
She probably, but I think Lily Gladstone is gonna get it. I think that it is, I hate to say it's time for a Native American woman to win. But I don't care. I'll say it. I want to see her win for that alone. I don't care. But I think that I think she's gonna get it. I think Lily Gladstone is gonna get it.
Okay, all right. We are recording these, so we will know. Our producer can ring it back and see who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah, who gets the goose egg and who gets the yay. All right, up next, the big dog category.
Go.
The best actor.
Best actor. All right.
Let's see. All right, lead actor. We have Bradley Cooper in Maestro, Coleman Domingo in Rustin, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. This is a monster category. You really couldn't be mad if any one of these people got the Oscar, because they just all blew it out in a variety of different ways. So what do you think? Who was your favorite in this category, Dave? I already know. Let me guess. Starts with the P.
And that rhymes with T, and that stands for no, never mind. A quick little little point. 4 of the 5 nominees have at least one action figure, which I think is always a cool thing. And I am actually going to pick the one man who doesn't have an action figure, to my understanding, and that's Coleman Domingo. I think he stands above everybody in bringing to life a man who had a tremendous impact on this country that many of us never heard about for a host of reasons. And I think he was spectacular and heroic in his portrayal of Russin. And man, I loved it. Another moment again where the history major got taken to school. So Coleman Domingo, that's my pick.
Wow.
A lot of great things to be said in others. He's the guy. He's the guy that I want. He's the guy that I hope gets it based on his performance.
Put that list back up again. This is a tough one for me. Okay, I don't care. I'm gonna go with Jeffrey Wright because Jeffrey Wright has paid his dues. He's done incredible work. I think that his role here speaks to something that's not overtly spoken, but is covertly known. And so he's done so many amazing things. I think it's his time, and I really want Jeffrey Wright to win. Now, who is somebody on here you're like, or is a dark horse? Let's put it like that. Who's the dark horse?
Well, I think of these, the dark horse would have to be Bradley Cooper, who has gotten panned by many of the critics for his portrayal, the makeup and plastic works that were done.
Yeah.
So he would be a bit of a dark horse just because he's been mocked, rightly or wrongly. I think it's been a little cruel. He would be the dark horse. You know, you thought I was going to say Paul Giamatti with The Holdovers, which I think was an incredible film. And Paul does a great job. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. But again, everybody's a winner in this category.
Yeah.
And the one man here who doesn't have a little tiny representation of himself is the one who's going to bring home the gold representation of himself on that night. That's the big pick.
Okay.
Bradley Cooper, he's got the A-Team action figure. Jeffrey Wright, he's got Commissioner Gordon from Batman. Paul Giamatti has at least the one from the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes. And Cillian Murphy also.
Does he have Batman? Because he was Scarecrow?
Cillian Murphy was Scarecrow, so yes.
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah, and of course Paul Giamatti was he played a gorilla in one of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh my God!
So he's got his action figure of him.
Who knew there were like 74,000 of these Planet of the Apes movies? But the dark horse. I mean, actually, Jeffrey Wright is probably the dark horse. I think.
Well, maybe.
I think who it will go to is probably Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. I think he's in the lead right now.
Probably. He was deaf tone in that.
Yeah, and it was such an incredible portrayal of a really complicated man, but his pitch in it was just perfect about, the quiet intensity and the he was a difficult person too. These great men aren't the easiest to live with and be with, but there's no denying that he captured all of that. And the way they did the character from the highs of the atomic bomb and then to the low of him being singled out and persecuted for that achievement in later life. You know,
That
that's
was
what they
fascinating.
say. Fame is a fickle mistress. I mean, one minute they love you and the next minute they tear you down. So, but his portrayal was just incredible. So, yeah. What do you think? Who's gonna win? Are you still hanging with Rustin?
I'm sticking with Colman Domingo. Now, I think Murphy was fantastic, and Oppenheimer was an unbelievable movie. I mean, that was just really so well done. But I also think that was a film where Robert Downey Jr. shined so brightly that, again, when you're looking about, I think his performance might have taken away from some of the others, not in a selfish way, but just because of the incredible presence he did. Han Solo was good in that, but everybody, Robert Downey Jr. just was really fantastic.
The new
Yes, I got a
Solo.
Solo reference in here, but I'm going with Coleman because he was larger than life in that movie and brought a spirit to somebody. Again, I didn't know about, so I'm giving it some bonus points because I learned something. I understood about more about
No, but I
Oppenheimer.
also
I
think
understand
that
about the
this is the
Red
type of
Scare and
movie
those
that Hollywood
relationships. So
likes to
again,
portray,
I'm gone.
a gay figure in civil rights movement who is, out in a time where it's not supposed, not
Right.
approved to be out, and how he overcomes stuff. I mean, they like those kind of portrayals. So I think it's a toss up. I mean, I think he's a dark horse. I wouldn't be mad. I'm rooting for all black. I ain't gonna lie. That we picked the two black men on the Oscars is really, really this year is incredible that there are not one but two black men up for best actor when for many years there were none. So that is a testament to we're coming a long way, and as the Academy diversifies, I think you'll see more diverse nominees as well. But that's our show. We will be back next week with it's pretty much the Oscar roundup.
Right.
And we'll have Poor Things, the Zone of Interest, which David and I saw in the theater together. And Barbie, as well as Best Director nominees, which should be a really interesting category. So come
Yeah.
back next week come back. Oh, wait, that might be Saturday's pick. Come back on our next show and see. And see us review. David, you got any final words for the folks?
Just want to wish everybody well. Wash your hands, mask up, don't get sick like some people we know. And to you, Pajama, please get well. We miss having you at 100%, that's for sure. But everybody, so long and take care on a cold, blistery night in our nation's capital.
Yes, and don't let your little curb snatcher kids touch you with all they sickies. But I'll be back in a couple of days to keep reviewing and keep having fun. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.